Disclaimer. Hello there, this is the Beyblade X episode review time, but we did actually get some more information, kind of on the entry starter, which we'll kind of talk about, but mostly on the Phoenix Feather, which, you know, really like to talk about. Anyways, mallbays.com, did you know we have an extreme sale going on? If you buy 3 products, 15% discount, and optionally support the channel. I appreciate any support regardless. We see stuff like Phoenix Feather. Now, Phoenix Feather is essentially just slightly modified of the original Drawn Sword. Obviously, it's a very different shape. It's not literally the same, but they are pretty close to each other. This does look pretty nice on the Koro. That's what's a January issue or whatever. That's going to be coming out mid-December. Very excited just to get my hands on it, just because, you know, it does look pretty neat. Also, they do kind of showcase it, and the bottom parts you're supposed to use are from the 17 entry set, so if you have a red Drawn Sword, that's how you can complete it. I did have a feeling that their intention was going to be to use something from something previously. I mean, hey, it makes sense, it does look pretty neat, so yeah. The entry starter, the whole point of this, again, because a lot of people kind of like, well, what's the point of this? The point of this is for new players in Japan, or even just new players in general that are trying to get into it. It's like the cheaper version of the starter. They basically go over all the basics and stuff, so yeah, that's about it. The winder looks whatever. I'm sure I'll probably do a small review of it when I get it, but yeah. Moving on from there, the episode this week was so-so. Some interesting kind of highs, but mostly kind of the same, and we'll get to it when we get to it. But basically, from, you know, the previous week, you know, we went through like those team matches, and now it is King versus Common X. Now, there were some interesting shots here for kind of angles that I like, and again, I do like how they handle the group dynamics and the characters this episode. I think more interesting this week was definitely the battle CG, but, you know, I do like the storyboarding, you know, I like some of the shots they kind of have, how they kind of hold on it. I like, you know, I like the interesting stuff, you know, and the anime kind of feels like it's above the mediocre average that it usually is. So they both do their launches, which I still think, I don't know, I feel like they're trying to do this thing, and I could be wrong, but I don't know if I'm the only one who kind of feels this. Who knows? But you know how are they trying to do that whole thing where like the characters all have this like burst thing where it's like this very specific launch animation, because I feel like that's their intention, and doesn't have the same pizzazz as, I don't know if I'm using that word right, as the burst ones. They just look okay. They look a little bit average, but they kind of lack the nice movement and impact as the burst stuff. But I don't know. Hopefully we get some new sequences, not just those. Anyways, the battle does commence, and it looks really beautiful. The bays are going at each other and attacking. Now, it is noted that King is trying to go for that little burst. Now, there is one little thing right here. So this looked like a pretty cool pose, and I thought when I saw the screen, because we always get the teasers ahead of time, I thought when they're doing that screenshot of when he's doing this, I thought it was going to be like doing that, you know what I mean? Like, you would see the motion of him doing that, but no, they just kind of cut to it, and it kind of like freezes really awkwardly. You know, these are kind of like the shots that I just, I like the idea, but I like I said, like X for execution, oh, very funny, is not the best. It's not the best, but what I did like was kind of this thing where you see that Drawn Sword is going for the extreme dash, but you kind of see in the camera angle, you kind of see a Leon Claw slowly creeping in. So when it comes, it's like, oh, I can do this too. And Leon Claw also rides on the extreme line. Now, we kind of already saw basically the best shot of the episode, the preview, when they're both going around. Again, the CG, the special effects on here, whatever, the VFX special effects, whatever. Very nice. Very nice shot of King here too. This one looks pretty nice. This is like a very nice shot that I did like. The special effects when the bays are clashing. I also like the different auras that they have, because if you look at them both, they kind of have a little bit of different auras. Like Drawn Sword, it's like a little bit more kind of like sparkly. Leon Claw, it's a little bit more sharp, like actual claws when they're clashing with each other. So I like that very unique detail. And this, I thought, this kind of went a little bit hard. This little idea where they both hit each other and they both kind of summon. The only thing that Because the CG is honestly like, for the Bey battles, for the most part, like for all the special, it looks really, really nice. But every time I get to the Avatar stuff, it's like the shit just goes down for me. It just looks like crap. Because I don't know. And listen, you know, you can acknowledge that, okay, this anime maybe has some circumstance, whatever, or maybe it is why the way it is, whatever. But listen, I'm thinking of like Metal Fight. And just how I think Metal Fight or even Bakuten they handle like the creatures so much better than like Burst and now X currently. I don't know, it looked okay. Like if they had better shots of animated of like the little creatures, that would have been really, really cool to see. Cause like, you know, the shots in between are kind of nice. And by the way, this battle is a draw, and they got to repeat it again. Now, Bird is worried, by the way. He was like, oh man, is X upset that he wasn't able to get that win because it's a tough opponent? But no, X is very, very excited because he finally gets to fight someone strong. Now, King basically changes the angle of his launch, and Izbei is defending. So Izbei is like, hey, you know, I can defend myself. Look at this. I can do more than just attack. So it's basically doing some pretty good defense. Yeah, look at it. These are really nice shots of the thing. This one I think was kind of neat of the lion thing, but we're gonna give this episode a little bit of crap, but we'll get to that in a moment. You know, first of all, the defense shots look pretty cool. Okay, this is like the Ryu shot from the previous one, this is the Ryu shot from the previous one, and the whole dragon sequence thing. So listen, there's some nice new shots in between, but for some of the repeated ones, and I'll talk about this now, I really did not like how many times I had to see the same shot of like the lion sequence, the same shot of like the dragon sequence, because it almost feels like the burst syndrome thing where we kind of see like the same sequence like 20 times, and it really breaks it for me. Because you know what I mean? Because like you're watching it, right? It's like, okay, I just saw the sequence. Okay, I just saw it again. I just saw it again. And it felt like too repeated. And what I think they should have done is they have to have these shots as minimal as possible if they're going to reuse the same sequence, because otherwise you get the same problem that you do with Burst, where the battles feel a little bit repetitive when you're kind of watching some of it. They should have just not cut to that many shots. They should have just had it very, very limited. Of course, X wins. Now obviously King had to change his strategy, but he wasn't that confident, right? Because he was matching X before, but he wasn't too confident he was actually able to do that well against his extreme dash, and then after he wins. Because obviously before, you know, this whole thing is like they're setting up, they're kind of matching each other in the extreme dash, but he wasn't that confident, so he tried to switch to the defensive strategy, and he got his ass kicked. So fair enough. So then after they win, a little bit of a difference now, I think they kind of all congratulate each other when they're inside the tournament thing, but here you kind of get like a little bit more interactions with the characters, you know, nice little comedy and stuff, which I thought was pretty nice, because the chapter kind of ends like abruptly, because like, you know, obviously limited pages and everything, but I thought this was pretty nice. And next week, Hell's Chain appears, but everyone's gonna be wondering, is there evolutions in Beyblade X or not? Now my friends, there is not. That's not how they do it. Instead, they have a thing called a Bey Crafter. They craft a new Bey. It's Hell's Chain. Oh, also this was a kind of a cool shot they had in multi with the thing. It's Hell Scythe versus Hell's Chain. So it's it's like sports here, right? They just have Hell's Chain can exist, Hell Scythe can exist. They both can coexist at the same time. It's not like Hell Scythe evolved into Hell's Chain. The same way for Lance and the same thing for Dagger. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. Now, aside from that, what are my final thoughts with this episode? Get closer now. No, that's not the right angle. There you go. There we go. This week was okay. Some of the reuse sequences were kind of whatever, and you know, X is just like right now it's kind of average. I think before it was like below average. Right now I think it deserves, you know, the average rating so far, at least for this episode. For X, when you're watching, you can get the feeling that there's so many things, like they have so many good ideas, but I wish like the anime could have had more time to cook, whether it's people working on it or the amount of time given, because, you know, like watching it, I hope we get a true gradual improvement, because obviously battles are, you know, the pacing so far has been pretty decent, I'd say. And this episode in particular, I did like how they incorporate the shots of like when the avatar is actually being utilized, when they do an impact on the bay, that also reflects when the bays are also being hit. So I like that too. So they do things that are right, but not the overall execution. But yeah, that's kind of, I say decent episode. I'll say decent, like truly decent this one. Like we're looking right now at a solid 6 out of 10 so far. That's my fair enough rating for this until I get wowed. Probably not. But you know what? We get to just enjoy and talk about it, I guess. Let me know your thoughts on this episode, and you get that confirmation for the whole evolution thing now. So yeah, pretty cool. Make sure to check out our sales stuff. Also, some updates. Saturday is going to be a very special video, so check out for that. It's going to be a very, very epic video. And Sunday there will be no live, since my father passed away back in August. And November, this Sunday, would have been his birthday. It doesn't feel right to do a live just because I don't have the strength to do so. So there's going to be a special video dedicated to them on the Sunday. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, take care. That'll be it for now. And bye.